Does this happen to you? I bet it does, because this is a Craftsman. Today we're going to fix it, and I'm going to show you how. So, there's a very common problem with these Craftsman lawnmowers. The flywheel will spin about one turn, and then it freezes up. They call that hydrolock. And actually what it is the gas runs out of the tank into the carburetor. There's no shutoff valve or anything in the gas line, so if you let them sit for too long, the gas will run from the fuel tank into the carburetor, flood the carburetor, and then that gas goes into the cylinder, and then there's too much gas in that cylinder for the next time you try to start it, and it just won't compress right, and it won't fire and get itself going. So, we're going to show you how to fix that today. We're going to start by taking out the spark plug, and then we're going to spin the flywheel and crank it and try to blast out the stuff that's in there. Actually, never mind, that's wrong. We're going to start by disconnecting the fuel line and draining all of the fuel out of the gas tank, and then we will clean the carb and clean the cylinder out. We'll take the spark plug out, we'll crank it and try to spit all the bad crap out and start over. So I'm going to show you how to do that right here. I'm going to disconnect the fuel line from the carburetor, and I'm going to stick it into this funnel and run it into this gas can and drain our tank because our tank is full. So just this little clamp, spring clamp thing. This is not as easy as it should be. Of course it's not, we're filming. Alright, so I'm going to disconnect this fuel line directly off of the carburetor here and drain our fuel tank into our gas can here because, well, our fuel tank's full, and then we had a problem where it wouldn't start. So I'll just take that clamp off and kind of twist the line with your hands, pop it loose, and then stick her in there, and then give it however long it takes to drain. So while my fuel tank's draining, because it's taking a long time, because it's only a 1/4 inch line and it's got like 3 gallons of fuel in it, I'm just going to let that fuel tank drain into the gas can there. While that's going on, I'm going to take out the spark plug. So just find your spark plug wire, pull the boot off with your hand, and get the appropriate size socket. 5/8 is most common, that's what this one is. So I need an extension. Let me cut this video and get right back with you. Well, I got my extension on here, so let's try this now. Ugh. Well, that was easy. I know this is not how you're supposed to use a socket wrench, but it's quicker than actually turning the thing. Also, it's too loose to actually use the correct way. So, we'll take the spark plug out. Okay, there we go. Well, that spark plug looks pretty terrible. We might want to replace that too while we're at it. So, look at how wet this spark plug is. Right, that tells us that the cylinder's full of gas. And, yep, it smells really strong like gas. So our cylinder's obviously flooded out. We're going to clean the spark plug up because it looks like crap. And hopefully it'll run a little better by that too. Alright, now that we got the spark plug out and the fuel line disconnected from the carburetor, we're going to crank it and push all that old gas out of the cylinder. I don't know how much I have to do that.
More.
And just crank it until you don't see any more fluid coming out, and then you know there's no more fluid in there. So the fix we're going to do for this particular model has a fuel filter on it in the inlet gas line. We're going to take that fuel filter out, and we are just going to replace it with a shutoff valve, because this isn't something that we don't use the lawnmower too much. We're not too concerned with the fuel filter. Our fuel is clean, our tank's clean. So we're going to take the fuel filter off, and we're going to put a shutoff valve right where the fuel filter is. Here's the fuel filter I was talking about. The arrow is pointing towards the carburetor, which it should be, but we don't care about that because we're removing it. So, you know, just pull these clamps off of here, off of each side. Probably use a better tool than this. Take this line off. Well, geez. It shouldn't be that hard. Let me just splash some gas on my pants while I do this. Oh, yeah. There we go. I'm just going to stick this back on the carb end here. And then disconnect the clamp on the other side of the filter. This thing is really dirty. It looks like it's covered in oil. Let's just get this up here where I can work on it. There, that's better. And we just break it loose with your hands. Squirt a little gas on yourself. Set that fuel filter off to the side, and now get out your inline fuel shutoff valve. Which these things never open right. Don't stab the valve though when you do that. Don't open it like I do. Do as I say, not as I do. And throw it in the dirt.
Might as well, since you took the filter out.
So when you are installing your shutoff valve or your fuel filter or whatever you're installing on fuel, this goes for pretty much anything, any fuel operated motor, make sure you follow the arrows. This arrow means towards the place where the fuel needs to go, in which case into a carburetor here. So I just put this piece in here on the side of the tank. Put your clamp back on. And they don't make this easy to work on. Kind of a tight space here. I'm also using needle nose pliers for clamp, hose clamp, but and stick the other side on. The clean side in my case. Okay, get the clamp on the carb end. Oh my goodness. Gracious, great balls of fire. Okay, there we go. Oh my goodness, too far. Okay, all right, let's turn that off. Now we have our shutoff valve in. We're going to clean the spark plug, put the spark plug back in, put the boot back on, and then we'll put a little bit of gas in here and get her started, hopefully. All right, that spark plug looks way better than when I pulled it out and showed you guys first time. That might not be what she said. But we're gonna put the spark plug back in now and get her working, hopefully. Oh, where? There she is. Yep. So it's a little tight working space here. Warning, fingers may get dirty. Although if you're doing your own mechanic work, you should be used to that. All right, spark plug back in. Put your boot back on. Okay, heard it snap. And I drained the fuel tank to clean it out, so now I got to put a little bit more fuel back in the tank. It's probably enough for now. I don't want to fill it for now. I'll fill it later. So when you're getting ready to start your mower, you want to open your gas valve and let the gas into your carb. Push your throttle up to choke, of course. Push the clutch in, turn your key, and crank it. Or not. Huh. Turn the gas valve off. Take the plug out and repeat. We didn't clean the carb. All right, so when you're getting ready to start the mower, make sure your shutoff valve for the gas that you just installed is off, okay? Then you're gonna push in the clutch, put your throttle up on the choke, turn your key, and buy a new lawnmower because Craftsman is crap. What is that?
Starter?
Well, so when you're getting ready to start your mower, make sure your shutoff valve that you just installed in your fuel line is shut off. Push in your clutch, put your throttle up to choke, turn your key. While it's running, open your gas valve to kill your motor again. Just fucking running off a cliff. The battery's dead, and she don't work real well with a dead battery. Charge batteries first, I guess, would be step one. Don't do what I do. Well, it will fire, but the battery's dead. So I guess I'll give it a few minutes. Let me charge battery, I'll get back with you. In most cases, what we just did, putting the shutoff valve in the fuel line stuff, should work. But in this instance, it didn't. So, we're going to take the valve off, the valve cover, and see what our valve situation's like. Hopefully we don't have any bent rods or anything like that. But, you see, the valve cover's down here with the valve, and it's going to be pretty difficult to get to without taking off the hood. So, we're going to take off the hood and get it out of our way and make this a lot easier for ourselves. So, the hood has just these two little pins mounted to the frame here that have R clips. Well, this one has R clips. The other one's been repaired already. Has been removed once. So I'll take that off. Oh, and the headlights just unplugged themselves. So I guess that's how you take the hood off. I just set this off to the side. Now we can get to our valve. So in order to take this valve cover off and look at what we got, it's just got 4 bolts in these corners. And these are 3/8. I'm going to put a pan under there because there should be some fluids in here, some gas. And hopefully this is the cause of our problem and we can fix it here. Looks like they use some Permatex on here. There's not standing fluid.
Looks like that rocker's coming off the valve though on the bottom. And
I don't think that's supposed to do that, is it?
I don't think so. Looks like the stud's backed out a touch, maybe.
Okay, so we got our valve cover off. Look at our valves here, and one of these little caps that goes on the valve was not on the valve. It was just sitting in here. So there's the first problem. Then we checked our push rods to see if one of them was not right. There is a possibility when it gets over compression, like it is doing and has been doing, your push rods can get bent or damaged. So we checked this bottom one. I think it's a little bent and damaged. It looks like a
Boomerang?
bent rod. A little curve in your rod. That's what it looks like. So I think we should probably need to fix that, and it might work a little better. For now, we'll just hide the problem. Check the top one while it's out too. Top one looks pretty good still. This is the exhaust valve. That one's okay. Now, as far as fixing it, we could get a new push rod, one that's straight, not screwed up. We can get a gun. We can... I don't know if it's possible to bend this back straight without causing more issues down the road. Or down the lawn. But... I think we found the problem. Because this thing was hydrolocked and had way too much compression inside the cylinder, way more than it should have had, it just bent the rod, the push rod. That's a problem. Needs to be fixed. Let's fix that. Well, I'm going to try to redneck it a little bit with a brake line tube bender. See if we can try to straighten this push rod out. I don't know if it's possible. I don't think so. Ugh. Cool, I put a bend in the wrong spot.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's totally fucked. Get a 460 XVR, the most powerful handgun in the world. Solves all your problems. Well, we put the valve cover and stuff back together, and she still don't crank. So we're gonna drain the oil, put some fresh oil in it, see if maybe that'll help. All right, I'll let that drain for a few minutes. Crapsman. So we drained the oil out of the engine, and then we tried to crank it with no oil just to see what it would do. Guess what? Still nothing! So, Briggs and crapping. Just don't get one. I don't know what to do here. I guess we're gonna take all this crap apart and take the head down and see if we can clean it or something. Something's not right here. It doesn't start. It doesn't crank when it's closed. When the spark plug is in and the oil drain is plugged, it won't fire. But with either of those open, it does. What the fuck, Craftsman? I'm not pleased right now, so I guess we're gonna tear it down to the head and see if we can fix it. Stay tuned. Can you tell me what's missing here? You probably can't on camera, but something went wrong. I wasn't filming it, but we had a problem with the starter. The flywheel on the starter decided it wanted to snap in half. Probably because the cylinder and everything it won't crank. So I think it put too much torque on that starter flywheel and it just snapped right in half. So fuck this motor. I'm done. Well, get a new one or a new lawnmower or something. I don't know. I'm not gonna mess with this anymore. It's just no. Don't get a Briggs and Stratton. Sorry, Briggs and Stratton. This is annoying me. I'm done. Thanks for watching, though. If you watched this far in the video, unfortunately, I did not fix it, and I'm not going to, because now I'm pissed off. So, bye. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what more you want to see. It's just, I don't know. Things just go wrong, apparently. Don't get one of these. That's my best recommendation. If you have one and it's broken, good. Time for a new one. Like, comment, subscribe. Goodbye.